it was as if I'll be interested to know of, who other players are in this conflict, and perhaps your thoughts about why they act or do not act in a certain, at least in supporting this noble cause. That's my concern. How do you place the layering of politics and political allegiance and the stakeholders in that scenario?
Okay. Yeah. As I said earlier, politicians, for me, when I look at them, are the same. They just support where it's much more their own party. As you mentioned, EFF, which is Economic Freedom Fighters, their only party we've seen at the moment, right now, they're shaking up our ANC government in the parliament and questioning. But even themselves, they just look where the problem are there any other members of their own party? I think that's my thinking, because I couldn't hear even seen one of any political party arguing this thing in the TV or in the parliament. I think it's because Eastern Cape, which is my province, it's a home of ANC. Now, they know that immediately when the other parties, they try to intervene, there will be no playground for them. That is the way when I'm trying to look, because we even try to engage with other political parties to say, guys, can you assist us? Can you pose this question in parliament? But it didn't work for us. I think it will work once we join.
Yeah, precisely the reason why I was asking about EFF, because in the instances that the EFF has taken their abuse, ANC's abuse of power or whatever nature, or corruption to parliament, it has been effective. It has managed to question the whole in-kind thing. It has managed to, I would even give the success that the DA and the EFF recorded in the last municipal elections to that kind of direct confrontation with ANC policies. So that's why I was asking, how is it that a conflict that has stretched for this long, and which in my view is very important, how is it that we have not had EFF? So, but I think your response kind of answers the question that I posed.
Okay, thank you. Then Jakob,
Yes, Nonhle, you mentioned and you told us that the Australian company pulled out itself or put down the case and gave the project to a locally based company, but this company has the same chairman, you said. So just to summarize it from the beginning on, and it still is a transnational conflict. Are there any social movements from abroad, for example from Australia, who support your interests? If so, and if not, do you have any wishes? So, or what could be a useful support from European social movements or Australian ones?
Not whispers to me. Can you answer? No, because I was engaged. No, there was the MRC had an annual general meeting in May, and there was support in Australia at that time. So there was kind of shareholder activism at that meeting, but the guy was thrown out, I believe. And there was a small picket outside the AGM, and it was also in Australian national radio, etc., etc. In UK, there was quite important pickets outside one of the main shareholders in London. I don't remember his name now, but we had the support of a researcher in UK who found out that one of the main shareholders in MRC is a guy, Graham Atkins, something like that. He's a big capitalist who had kind of 24% of the shares in MRC. And they picketed it quite successfully outside his residence. And perhaps that is why the MRC made this move in July to say that we will now sell. There's been so much strife here, so okay, we will sell the project, the Colombian mining project, to the local business community because we don't want it to be connected any longer to Australia. Now, when you check this up in the community intellectual property register, you will see that the main Australian people, they are still the directors of the mining applicant. It's Mark Caruso, Peter Torre, and it's Chief Lunga, which is the Amadiba chief, who has sold himself, and he can't any longer speak at community meetings. And then you have a fourth person who is one of the chiefs of this the new king, so to speak, which the government wants to have. So the new king seems to come in with a direct economic interest in the whole project, but the Australians are still there personally. The lawyers of the Crisis Committee have demanded the memorandum of understanding between MRC and this new company who is said to be taking over the project, which is called KEESA Investment. But they have not been allowed to see this memorandum. And the thing is that we know that the people like Zanozuko, the chiefs, the black business community, they don't really have any money. So how can they buy this project, which is allegedly worth sort of billions of dollars? Well, the only way would be that the government comes in with money and support and give them a loan, or that MRC sells the project to them for $1, and then probably with the promise that we can buy back the project again for $1, etc., etc. So that's why we want to see the memorandum of understanding, but that's a big given to us. But I mean, for the point of view of the Crisis Committee, I think, and the community, for time being, we believe that this selling of all this, it doesn't mean that the Australians are out at all. It just means that you're changing the looks of the project, and you bring in Zanozuko, this throne contender, this new king, quotation marks, like that, in order to soften the deal and get more social base for the project among the local business community. So that's what they are doing, but they are still in there. It shall be said also that the MRC's mine in Tormin on the Western Cape, which is a similar mine, also mainly for titanium minerals, which is used to make white paint, by the way. So the whole beach will be made to white paint, which will paint the houses in China. This Tormin mine has been riddled with scandals, and they are now almost about to be blocked by the environmental authorities because there have been 1 year of campaigns against this mine. They are breaking all regulations. They are extending the mine outside the permitted territory. They are destroying the beach. There's been a big fallout of the beach, etc., etc. There's a lot of articles about this in the South African media right now. And now they had a raid by the environmental authorities coming and took the computers and etc., etc. And MRC has now litigated in the Department of Environment for illegally entering their property because they made this raid because they've been blocking this regulation. So this is really kind of like a cowboy company. On the other hand, most of the mining companies in South Africa are cowboy companies. So we have all this nice legislation, and then you have a minimum of implementation. And you have also the problem of people high up in the Department of Mineral Resources who personally have an economic interest in this project, Colombian mining project, and in other projects. So the regulation is, this is not, was it this Weber who spoke about neutral independent state? It was a German, I think, who invented this good state. wrote about it in the 90s. You who go to university, you know about this Weber, who spoke about the independent, strict bureaucrat who always take the right decision with no fear and favor. You don't have that in South Africa. You have the good pieces of legislation, and then you have a shit to implementation. People sort of all messed up in the economical dealings with these multinational companies.
All right, I think we take 2 more questions from Doro and Barbara. Okay, 3 with Caroline.
My question is similar as his. What can the international community do to support your fight? Because as Barbara said, I'm really impressed about this 12 years, which is extraordinary.
Okay, we really need support all over the world to preserve or to protect that area. Because when we look at South Africa, it's the only place that it's left. They want to mine the whole country. That's what they are planning right now. We need your support in any way where you can think it can assist us to spread the word, and any kind of support. It's going to assist us as long as it's going to stop the mining, because what we want is to stop that mining company for good, to not coming back.
All right, Barbara?
What's the same?
All right, okay. And then to finish off, Caroline?
It's not a question, but let me start with the issue of support. The difficulties with the human rights defenders is that, and this is what the mining companies, they've also using that against us, is that once you are arrested, it's your own family who has to struggle to raise money for bailing you out. And I think this is one of the support that the comrade company can really be assisted, because this is what also makes other people to pull off, because they are afraid that they'll be arrested and the next thing there's no money to bail them out. So it's a serious problem. And it's also going back to Hafik was saying that there are positive examples, but clearly from what we've been talking about today, that where there is corporate greed, there's no democracy, and even they don't recognize the power and the voices of the people. We're asking about the role of the political parties, but I think that the comrades Tolobeni, independently as comrades, as the communities, they acted, they raised their voices, and to show how our democracy has been undermined, the government refused to listen to that one voice. So they didn't need political party, because the next thing will be actually be linked to the political party. This is what they say, that you are acting because you're a member of DA, or you are acting because you're a member of EFF. So we always say that we are not trying to, establish new political parties. These are the voices of the affected people. Some of them, they might belong to their own political parties, but their struggle is not about becoming a political party organization, and that needs to be respected as well.
Okay, thank you very much for those last words. And I just want to say that we can actually continue this discussion tonight after the movie. We will watch the short break, which actually speaks about this project, where Nonhle is the protagonist. And afterwards we can continue the discussion around the specific issue. So we can have some coffee and then we come back.